Hi, welcome. I'm Megan. We're going to be doing a little workout today. This one is good for regulation and overall wellness. This is great for people who sit a lot or if you work from home. This is also great for seniors, and it's going to help all those muscles that don't get worked out when you sit a lot or just haven't been super active and you want to build that strength back up. So thank you for joining me, and let's get to it. If you guys have any aches, pains, tension, anything that you feel like might affect your workout, you might want to go check out the body scan meditation I have on my page and breathe through some of that tension before getting into this workout so that we could have our best and most fulfilling workout. If not, then we're ready to go. Let's get started. We're going to start with some regulation. The first step in all of these stretches, I want you to press your tongue into the roof of your mouth. I want you to think about the whole perimeter of your tongue and pressing it into the roof of your mouth and feeling the entire perimeter of your tongue touching the roof of your mouth and pressing into it so that you can feel a gentle pressure on the roof of your mouth, and you should kind of feel some of the muscles in your face relaxing as your tongue presses against the roof of your mouth to create that pressure. Now while you're doing that, I want you to tuck your chin back into your neck. I know it feels a little silly, but tuck your chin backwards. Keep that tongue pressed to the roof of your mouth. And just gently stretch your neck, roll down, and roll up. Do this about 10 times. You can do that as many times as you'd like. You could pause the video if you prefer. Next, we're going to keep our tongue pressed to the roof of our mouth, and we're just going to rotate our head from side to side. Do that about 10 times as well. Again, you may pause the video and do it for longer if you'd like. Whatever feels good to you, this is your practice. This is for you and your well-being. All right, next we're going to move into some eye stretches. I know that sounds crazy, but have you ever done an eye stretch before? Exactly. It's way more important than you think. Don't skip this part. This will really help you regulate, and it's something that your body probably hasn't had in a very long time, unless this is something that you do. So I'm going to put my finger out in front of my face. I'm going to focus my eyes. I'm going to keep, again, my tongue pressed to the roof of my mouth. I'm going to drag my finger all the way out to the side, following it with my eyes. Both sides. We're going to do this about 10 times as well. And now we're going to go up and down. As we're going up and down, I would like to invite you, if you prefer, another great way to stretch the muscles of your face is as you go up, stick your tongue down out of your mouth. And as you go down, bring it back in. This allows these muscles to stretch. I'm going to do this about 10 times as well. Make sure when you're doing this that all the muscles in your face are relaxed. You're not tensing your jaw. You're not tensing in your forehead, behind your forehead. Let your eyes relax. A lot of us carry tension in our face and don't even realize it. Sometimes our eyes are working extra hard to focus. Try to let these muscles relax. And again, go up and down, side to side. Next, the most important part of any workout is your breath and your connection to your breath. So we want to make sure that we're breathing up through our body using our diaphragm to help us breathe. So when you take a deep breath into your body, make sure that your ribs don't flare out or your shoulders don't shrug up like this. We want to keep our ribs down, our shoulders back and down. We want to take that deep breath up through our body so we can feel that diaphragm that sits underneath your lungs. You want to feel it push up and rise up as you take a deep breath in and let it release as you breathe out. We don't want to go like this when we take our deep breath. We want to make sure our neck is relaxed, our shoulders are relaxed. We're breathing through our diaphragm to give us a chance to access that state of deep breath and make sure that we continue diaphragmatic breathing throughout our workout. I'm going to walk us through a quick little exercise to practice that diaphragmatic breathing. So I want you to slowly pick up your feet one at a time, trying to keep your core stable, breathing up into your body with each step. We're going to take quicker breaths right now than we normally would, but make sure you're still moving slowly with your feet. Up, breathe up as you lift your foot up with your breath, lifting that diaphragm, but not your shoulders, not your chest, not your neck. Breathing up through your body. You should feel your core strong and stable. We're just going to walk it out. If you have tension in your hips, you might want to step to the side, allowing your hips to roll out, lifting your heels up off the ground as you step your hip to the side. Roll it out, continuing to breathe through your diaphragm. As we do this, we want to make sure our spine is straight and we are lifting through our hip flexors, which is in the front of our thighs. Keeping your core tight and engaged. You should also feel your core working as you continue to breathe. So for this next part of the workout, we're going to be using resistance bands, a foam roller, yoga blocks, and a kettlebell. But it's totally okay if you don't have any or all of those items. I will be suggesting substitutions along the way. For this next exercise, we're going to be working our hip flexors, which is this muscle right here in the front of our legs. This muscle gets really weak when you sit a lot. You might think that you need to stretch this muscle because it feels tight, but what you actually need to do is strengthen it so that other muscles stop overcompensating for it, which is creating that pain that you feel. So you want to take, I'm using this yoga block, but you could use a book. You could just lift your foot. You don't need to go over anything. This just helps me, but I'm going to place it right here. And you need to have your back flat against a wall. You don't want there to be any space between you and the wall. There should not be any gapping on your lower back. Your lower back should be pressed as firmly against the wall as your upper back. So try to get as close to that wall as you can. Roll your shoulders back and down. And remember here to do the deep diaphragmatic breath. We want to pull our deep inner core muscles up so that we're not using them to overcompensate for our hip flexors in this moment. We want to focus on using just this muscle to lift our leg and go up and over the block. Or if you don't have a block and you're just lifting your leg, that is totally okay as well. Go over a book, a water bottle, anything that you have. You're just going to lift your leg up and over. You can do this as many times as you like, but I recommend going for 3 sets of 10 on each leg. So we'll do 10 here, making sure our core is engaged so that our back doesn't gap off the wall. Just lifting our leg up and over. Take that deep breath in when you lift your leg, and out when you come down. If this is easy, you might not be doing it right. You should feel your hip flexors working. It might be really difficult to lift your leg up off the ground this way, especially if you are older and have not ever done this movement before. That hip flexor is probably very weak from sitting a lot. So we want to do this 10 times on each leg. 3 times. So for this next one, I'm using this long resistance band. I would suggest getting long resistance bands for anybody who works out from home because it can add a great layer. They're very functional, very versatile, and they do a lot. So if you get these, I would definitely recommend getting long ones. You can get short ones as well, but definitely make sure if you're trying to get resistance bands that you specify that you want the long ones. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it around my feet, just around the tops of my feet, right underneath my toes. And I'm just going to gently pull the band, pressing against it with my feet and squeezing my back muscles, engaging my deep core. So I'm standing up nice and tall, or sitting up nice and tall. My ribs are down. I'm actively pushing the band away with my feet while pulling it closer to me with my arms. Your arms should be at your side, squeezing. Pretend you have lemons underneath your armpits and you're trying to squeeze them. That's how close your arms should be to your body. Shoulders back and down. Squeezing backwards, using a little bit of engagement in your back. Again, resisting with the feet. Holding yourself up nice and tall. You should feel a nice stretch with this. Take some deep diaphragmatic breaths while you're in this position. And hold. For starters, if you're a beginner, I would say start with 3 sets of 30-second holds and work your way up. If you could hold it for a minute, do a minute. Just a nice stretch. Do what feels right to you. You can rock your feet back and forth. You may even turn your feet out, get a little rotational stretch. But remember to hold yourself up tall and engage your core. You're using your deep inner core muscles, drawing your pelvic floor and your diaphragm up as you breathe in and release as you breathe out. All right, so for this next part, we're going to be using a resistance band again. If you don't have one, you can just skip this exercise and move on to the next. I'm going to place it underneath my feet, and I'm going to Put my feet about hip distance apart, and I'm going to anchor my hands on the outer corners at the same distance, and I'm just going to pull out in front of me, rotating my shoulders down. My shoulders are back and down. I'm squeezing through my back to keep myself stable. Make sure you're not tensing your neck or your head. Deep diaphragmatic breathing. Just holding the band. Hold it for 30 seconds. Or as long as you can if you can't reach 30 seconds. You're going to repeat that 3 times. Just going to pull the band up and out in front of you, making sure your shoulders are back and down. Again, deep diaphragmatic breathing. Also bringing this back to some of the stuff that we did earlier in our workout, make sure that your tongue is pressed to the roof of your mouth. Make sure your head is up high, your neck is not leaning forward, your torso is not leaning forward, your ribs are stacked above your hips. For this next exercise, I'm going to be using a foam roller. I'm going to be laying on top of it because it requires your internal stabilizers to work a little bit harder. And that's why I like to lay on top of this foam roller, but you can do this on your back as well. If you are doing the exercise on your back, you want to make sure that your back is fully in contact with the ground. And then for this next part, I'm going to be putting this in between my knees for extra engagement. If you have a Pilates ball, you could also use a Pilates ball in between your knees and then put the yoga block in between your feet for extra engagement, and which helps your proprioception too. But it is completely up to you. You don't even need to have either of these things. You can just use your body weight, or you could use a book or anything flat that you could, or a pillow you could press between your knees. Any of those things are great substitutions. So I'm going to, if you're using a foam roller like me, you're going to have your hands at your side and you're going to lift your legs up to a 90-degree angle. Again, using your deep inner core muscles and diaphragmatic breathing, we are going to tap our toes on the floor and lift up. You want to breathe out when you come up with your legs and in when you go down. Again, if your back is flat on the floor, same thing, just touching the ground and coming back up. Making sure that our neck is not out like this and that our back is not overcompensating for our core. We want to do 3 sets here. We're going to do 10 reps 3 times. As you work your way up, you can start to do 12 here. Taking that deep breath in, allowing that diaphragm to rise as we put our legs down, and breathing out, squeezing our inner abdominal muscles as we push the air out of our lungs. As we come in. You want to do 3 sets of those, so you may pause the video until you have completed 3 sets of 10 to 12. So for this next part, we're going to be using a kettlebell, but you could also do this if you don't have a kettlebell or a weight of any kind. You can do it body weight and just focus on your breath, making this a breathing exercise. This exercise is really good for your torso rotation, which is often missed in traditional workouts. So we're going to take our kettlebell. I'm going to have one leg up, but you can also do it with both knees down if this causes you any sort of pain or if you have any hip imbalances. You can just keep it here. You're taking the kettlebell and you're swinging up like this, making sure that you keep your core stable and engaged. So you're here, you're down, and you're swinging it up and rotating. The kettlebell is rotating, but your body is staying straight. We're going to do this for 10 reps. This arm is just catching the weight. It's not doing any work. And then you'll switch sides. As you go up with the kettlebell, you're breathing in and out to release. I do 3 sets of 10 reps on each side. All right, so for this next one, you could do this without a weight, but if you have a weight, you're gonna hold it into your chest. You can also use just something heavy or just holding anything you have to just create that balance, because this exercise we're going to be focusing primarily on our balance and our stability as opposed to strength and power. So we're going to be holding the weight, or you can just put your hands together and you're going to lift your leg, taking deep diaphragmatic breaths, making sure your hips are in line, shoulders back and down, spine straight, pelvis tucked. Deep diaphragmatic breaths, you're just holding your weight and you're holding one leg up. You're going to hold it for 30 seconds. You're going to hold the weight. And then if you can, you're going to slowly lean back, keeping the weight close to you, and drive up. The drive up should be quick for power, but we're primarily focusing on our balance. And when you come up, press the weight out and come back in. Just take practice and you can work your way up to the full movement. If we need to just focus on building our balance, you can just hold the single leg stance. Maybe practice pushing out and coming back in. Or if you need to just focus on keeping your hips in line and lifting through your hip flexor, and keeping your core engaged, you can just hold it here. This is your practice. Do what feels right to you. And then we're gonna switch legs. When you are going backwards in this movement, make sure you're moving your hips, not using your joints, you're using your muscles that are supporting. We don't want to dump all the pressure into our knees or our ankles. We want to use these muscles to anchor ourselves. Okay, so this next one is really good for building power and strength in our legs, especially if you sit a lot or are looking to just start developing our leg muscles, or it's been a long time since you've worked out. This one is a really good one. Again, remember your diaphragmatic breathing as we're doing this. We're going to have bend in the knees, slight bend here, kind of almost in a squat position, and we're just going to the side, hopping. You want to be kind of fast, keeping this lowered squat position the whole time, from side to side. We want to do this 3 sets, 20. So we're doing 20 hops 3 times. If you want to increase the challenge of this, you can add a resistance band around the knees here. That'll get you a good burn in your glutes. Or if you want to focus more on your mobility, we can go into a side lunge, and you come down like this and pop up. Down like this and hop up. Down like this and hop up. When we're doing those, making sure that we're sitting back into the movement, like you're sitting in a chair with one leg, and coming up. So this is just a reminder that this is your practice. Do what feels right to you. If there's anything that you feel like didn't feel right or you want substitutions, go ahead and do that. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.